Today is Palm Sunday, if you didn't already know that. Unfortunately, I'm not preaching a sermon on Palm Sunday. I'm still in that series, Peoplehood. We've been talking about different relationships, and we talked about the relationship we often neglect the most, which is that of ourselves. And then I talked about men, talked about being 60 grit men, and last week I talked about womanhood. Today we're going to be about singlehood and marriagehood. Next Sunday is Easter. I can't emphasize it enough. We have a special guest pianist going to play for us next week for Easter Sunday, and we're going to have a great service. And then after that we'll complete the Peoplehood series. So here are some facts you need to know. I've discovered that probably 80-85% of all of us will encounter marriage, or as I call it, marriagehood, at some time in their life, but 100% of us have experienced singlehood in our lifetime. So this message is for everyone. It's not just for the married people, it's not just for the singles. It's going to cover us all. We got a lot to cover. I want to begin with some little short clips. There's nothing like a child's perspective on things. So we're going to play a couple of two or three little short clips.
Do you want to get married when you grow up?
No.
Why not?
It makes you deaf.
Who told you that?
My dad. He hasn't heard a word Mommy said in years. And in the morning, I don't know who she...
All right, buddy, be honest. Who's the best looking parent, Mom or Dad?
Well, both. But at night, Mom peels off her makeup, takes off her hair wig, and in the morning, I don't know who she is until she paints her face back on.
All right.
Does your mommy have any rules at home?
Yes.
Oh, really? What kind of rules?
Mommy says Daddy should always listen, even when Daddy is right, because Mommy's still right.
Does your mommy...
Okay. You know, it's funny about Facebook. I clicked on one of those about 3 weeks ago. I now get 100 a day. All of us are mystified by marriage. And young people continue to come to their parents with that one important question: how will I know when the right person comes along to marry? And parents continue to give that same old advice, which has been passed down from generation to generation. Oh, don't worry, you will know. Parents, that's horrible advice. You need to know that I'm not an expert on dating or love, as my wife Brenda can certainly tell you. But I do know someone who is. His name is Dr. John Van Epp. He's a Christian therapist, a professor, and an author. And I found his model, which is based on biblical principles, to be so helpful for people, whether you're married or whether you're single. So he's written 2 books on this basic subject. One is for those who are married. It's called Becoming Better Together. The second one is for the single people, How to Avoid Falling in Love with a Jerk. Or a jerkette, as it might be. Here's what I believe. All relationships get better when we do them God's way. That's the heartbeat behind the Peoplehood series, the whole series. I want to share with you a key verse that comes from a passage, and then I want to spend the next 25, 30 minutes unpacking it a bit. The passage comes from Philippians 2, verse 5. It says, in your relationships with one another, have the same mindset as Christ Jesus. You see, the target mindset isn't my mindset or my wife's mindset. It's God's mindset. It's what Jesus would have us to do. So I'm just going to lay all my cards on the table today. The best possible thing that can happen to your relationship is not that you came to church today, but that Christ Jesus would be in you. This is, Dr. Van Epp specializes in a thing that he calls the Relationship Achievement Model, or RAM. Can we have, you get that up there? You have it in your bulletin? If you are a visual learner, I think this will help you to understand the biblical progression of all relationships. So it's important that you begin a relationship by knowing a person, knowing them before you begin to trust them or rely on them, before you make a commitment to them, and certainly before you touch them. You may be single right now. These are the progressions of what a healthy friendship looks like. If you're single and planning to marry someday, this progression will be imperative for you. If you are married, this will help you diagnose some of the challenges that with a few tweaks can make a huge difference in your marriage. I want you to think of each of these, I've asked them to keep it up on the board, on the screen, as sliders on a soundboard. We're trying to get all of them at the top, but they're not all at the top. Sometimes they're moving up and down. These things are fluid. For example, a young couple gets married and all these things are, frankly, they're all pegged at the top when you're newly married. She has a baby. The baby cries at night and she gets up to tend to the baby and he stays in the bed and prays for her. After a pattern of this night after night after night, she says to herself, I thought I knew him. He used to be so helpful, but now he is not doing anything. And when the no slider goes down, what do you think happens to the touch slider? Now today I want to focus on just one of them, the foundational one, the one to know. Because you can't really trust someone until you know them. It is hard to see that one of the common mistakes that people make, they make it touching before they know someone. This past week I was watching a particular news broadcast that I watch every day. And they had a young guy interviewing college people on spring break in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He would ask them all sorts of questions. It was hilarious, to be honest with you. He asked them what their goal for spring break was. For many of them, this is what their goal was: to get drunk every night and sleep with a different person every night. You can ask me about the video and I'll tell you where to go to find it. So now you have people that are sexually active, but they don't know each other. They don't know whether they can trust each other. They don't know whether they can rely on each other, or what level of commitment they can bring to a relationship. God has designed sex to be a part of marriage, but it doesn't happen at the top, it happens at the bottom. Let me give you another example. You might rely on someone before you trust them or know them. Again, I want to tell you, you're setting yourself up for a fall. Because it may be this person is unreliable or may not be a trustworthy person. You say, well, I know them because they showed up on Facebook and they wanted to be my friend. You don't know them. You know what Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, the version that they want you to know about them. You see, healthy relationships begin by getting to know someone deeply in a broad range of situations and settings. So here's the question of the day. How do I get to know someone? How do I get to know someone? Number one, make an investment of time. Make an investment of time. There is no other way to get to know someone apart from investing time with them. Whenever a starry-eyed couple approach me over the years and say, we're in love, Pastor Bob, and we want to get married, I want to look them in the eye and say, do you have any idea what till death do us part means? It means dirty dishes. It means financial fights. It means communication issues. It means career struggles and timing pressures and mortgage payments and bouts with diarrhea. It means whether you are going to watch Monday Night Football. I was going to put The Bachelorette, but I guess they canceled it. Monday Night Football or The Voice. It means watching his hairline recede and his waistline get bigger. It means navigating family and emotional issues and aging challenges you cannot even imagine. And think that after knowing each other for just a few weeks, you're ready to make this lifelong commitment? Now, I want to say that, but I haven't yet. But it takes time. Have you heard of the 90-day rule? If you're single today in the room, and I won't ask you to raise your hands because you might find another single in the room. Anyway, I'm not in the matchmaking business. I'm really not. In a study done by researchers, they spent 10 years on this study. Here's the 90-day rule. I should have had it in your outline, and I'm sorry I didn't. About a half of all dating attraction is significantly altered by newly found characteristics within a 3-month period. In other words, in a 3-month period of dating, they find out one of those aha moments. And it significantly altered their perception of the other person. Half of the relationships end up breaking up. So if you're dating today, you can save yourself a whole lot of heartache by investing time to get to know someone before you even think of this as a long-term relationship. I want you to look with me way back in the Old Testament. 1 Samuel 16:7. 1 Samuel 16:7. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. This is true. People tend to judge stuff on the outward appearance. Now, women, isn't it true that when you begin dating a brand new guy, the first question all your girlfriends ask you is, what does he do? And guys, when you start dating a new person, what do your guy friends say? What does she look like? That's what we want to know. Which brings us right back to 1 Samuel 16:7. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. So how do you discover their heart of integrity, their character, their spiritual commitment? Only one way. You do it through a full range of shared experiences over time. Researchers, take note, Vaughn, at K-State University. I didn't know that it was the dating capital of the world, but researchers at K-State University discovered that long-term dating relationships generally lead to higher levels of marital joy. Short-term dating relationships generally lead to higher levels of marital breakup. So I say that, and inevitably someone will come up to me and say, well, Bob, my grandma and granny, they only knew each other for 2 weeks and they got married, and they've been married for 62 years. Well, I want to tell you, just a little tidbit you need to know about your pastor. So I dated Brenda for 5 weeks. Moved 1,200 miles away to seminary. We wrote back and forth. We talked on the phone. Do you remember those phone calls when we used to actually talk to people? Do you remember? You hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No. We had letters we wrote. Back and forth. I have my letters still. She has her letters still. We got married 6 months later. Now, I want to tell you, folks, that's not the way to do it. I'm glad I did. You can ask Brenda separately, and she'll answer that privately. I think she's okay with it. But you got to get to know each other. When you buy a car today, you enter the VIN number and get the actual mileage, the Carfax telling you whether it's been in an accident. Savvy buyers want to know everything about that car before they trust it for their transportation. The same is true if you're dating someone and you find traumas, heartbreak, or character issues, or faithfulness issues, or substance abuse issues that you think, can't tell you how many times I've talked to couples about this, that you think you can fix. I'm just going to tell you right now, you're probably not going to fix them. All I hear is red flag, red flag, red flag screaming at us. Don't make a binding commitment to someone you know who is significantly unhealthy, not just physically, but otherwise. Now, what if you're already married or married for a long time? You'll still need to spend more time together. You may say, well, I don't need to do that. Now, yeah, you do. People change. The challenges of marriage is to share those parts of your life that you have kept hidden from the rest of the world. And the only way that happens is spending time with your spouse. Seeking to understand your spouse, hearing what is on their heart without trying to fix it. Can't tell you how many times I've met with a couple, and one of the members of the couple will say something, and the other person will say, I had no idea. We need to spend time knowing each other. Brenda and I have been married 52 years. In a couple of months, it'll be 53. And I'm still learning who she is. She's still learning about me. We all have our idiosyncrasies. We all have those things that make us unique. Our relationship is better because I know things about her. I'm still learning to this day. So let's go back to our text, Philippians 2, verse 2. Then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and one in mind. Which begs the question, how are you going to be of one mind if you don't know what's in someone's mind. I'm talking to those of you who are getting ready to know someone, and to those of you who have been married for a long time. If you want your marriage to stay in tune, then you need to stay in tune with each other. The only way to do that is to spend time with each other. Get out of the house. Go on a date. Hear me. Leave the kids at home. I know that breaks some of your hearts because you love your kids more than you do your spouse. You prioritized your kids over your spouse. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to live to regret it. God first, your spouse second, the kids third. We need to spend time with each other. We need to quit scrolling on our phones. Some of you know more about your favorite sports team and their stats, or the Kardashians, or what's going on social media than you know about the people in your own house. That's not the way God intended it to be. If you want to grow a relationship, then you need to know each of the people in that relationships. You need to invest time with them. I have a little thing here. Anybody tell me what this is? It's a what? Paper bag. A lunch bag. No, folks, this is a relationship saver. I want you to go to the store and get one. I'm going to tell the wives to do it because the men will never remember to do it. The next time you go on a date, we're going to test this out at noon, by the way, family. I'm just telling my family. Put all your iPhones in the bag. Pass the bag around. Everybody put their phone in there while you eat. Quit scrolling on your phones. All right, number 2. You need to act on what you know. You need to act on what you know. If you want to have the same mindset of Christ Jesus, then you need to act on what you know. So let's go back to that passage, Philippians 2. But let's look at verses 3 to 4. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interest of others. Wow. I've always preached that about the church. But what about our marriages? What about the interest of the other people in our house? You need to act on it. Study after study shows that the number one need of a man is to be respected. The number one need of a woman is to be loved. Now, the experts are just now figuring that out, but the Bible told about it years ago. So let's look at this great passage on relationships, Matthew 5, and I just want to look at just the 33rd verse. Matthew 5:33. However, each one of you must love, he's talking about men, must love his wife as he loves himself. And the wife, now you would think, I would like to cover it up, but I can't. You would think that Paul would have said, and you wives, you need to love your husband. No. What does Paul say? You need to respect your husband. What women want is love, but what men want is respect. That's the way God made us. He knows us. Women, if you want to know the number one need of a man is respect, then you need to express that to him. You need to say, I just respect you so much for this, and you fill in the blank. But you say, Bob, He does such stupid things. I don't know. Maybe your husband is just plain stupid. He married you, didn't he? No. He did it. He did. If you had the manuscript, you just got to let me finish the line. He did at least one good thing. I definitely should not say this, but I provide manuscripts for some people that have a hard time with following the outline, or it's just easier to read it. And so I'm now up to 7 copies I'm handing out. I told somebody this morning I'm just going to make one for everybody, and I'm going to stay home and watch it on TV anyway. You remember the late Aretha Franklin? She sang that song, Respect. Do you remember that song? Remember that? One of Billboard's top greatest hits of all times. It was a great song for her, and a lot of women yearn for respect, and they should. If you need to listen to my womanhood sermon last week, you'll know I'm right there. But did you know Aretha Franklin did not write that song? That song was written by a man, Otis Redding. He did it after he'd had a fight with his girlfriend. And it was a heart cry of every man. He needed respect. Obviously, he never got the fact that women need love, because the next song he wrote was Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. So women, here's your homework for the week. Try this. Think about 2 or 3 things that you respect about your guy, and then express it to them. You'll be surprised what happened. I heard that one guy did this, one lady did this, and a couple of days later, she heard the sounds of pots and pans in the kitchen. He was fixing dinner. And a couple of days later, he was not only doing the laundry, he was folding the clothes. You're going to say, but Bob, he knows I'm going to say that because he heard your sermon. Trust me, men are insecure. He will appreciate the fact that you respect him. Guys, here is your homework assignment. Show your love by demonstrating that she is your priority, and especially do that in front of her friends, because they need to know that you love her. And no wife should go and let me just change that. No woman should go one day of her life wondering if she's married, if she's in love, if somebody loves her. Talk about how much you love her. Remind her about it. Hold her hand. Open the door for her. I heard about one guy that holds his wife's hand. They asked him, why do you hold your wife's hand all the time? He said, so she can't go shopping. Take your wife on a date. You say, but I can't afford it. Listen, a date night, a date lunch, you can share the plate together, is a whole lot cheaper than a divorce. Just saying. I told you earlier that every man is insecure. I want to tell you women are insecure too. I guarantee you there's not a woman in this world who wakes up every single morning and says, I'm good enough, I'm pretty enough, and everybody loves me. Guys, we have the opportunity to say with our words and with our looks, to lift her up on a pedestal, to make her believe that she is the queen of our world. Or we have the opportunity to tear her down and diminish her to the point that she doesn't feel like she's anything. She is the daughter of the King of the universe. So we better be careful how we handle that. She needs you to honor her. She needs you to cherish her. Let me put it another way to you men. Would you want your son-in-law to treat your daughter the way you treat your wife? Just putting it out there. So we know these things, we act upon these things, and here's number 3. Know where your identity comes from. We talked a lot about our relationships with others, but there is something you need to know about yourself. Do you remember that old Tom Cruise, Renee Zellweger movie called Jerry Maguire? Can you tell me one of the famous lines out of that? Show me the money. Can you tell me another one? You had me at hello. They're great lines. But here's the third one. You complete me. I want to gag. I just want to gag. You complete me. Letter A, if you're in the outline. Only Jesus can complete you. I think the line is good, but it misleads so many people. No other human being can complete you. It's an unreal expectation. And if you put that kind of pressure on a person, only on a person you are dating or a spouse to fill that gaps that are in your life, you're just going to set yourself up for a huge disappointment. Another person cannot complete you. Look at Ephesians 3:19, and we're going to read it in the New Living Translation. Ephesians 3:19. May you experience the love of Christ, though it is too great to understand fully. Then you will be made, what does it say? Made complete with all the fullness of life and the power that comes from God. Don't miss this. God is the only one that completes us. Don't look to another person to complete you. How about you be you and they be they, and let God be God? I think we've gotten off track. When we say the two shall become one, we think two incomplete persons become one, they make a complete person. That's not true. It's just two completed people who come together, two incompleted people that come together, and they're in chaos. But when two completed people come together, who are completed in Jesus Christ, then God can do something beautiful. Look with me at one final passage from Philippians 2. Very familiar passage. Philippians 2, 5-8. In your relationships with one another, have the same mindset as Christ Jesus. We've talked about that before, but listen to this. It's the only piece of poetry Paul ever wrote. Only piece of poetry. Who being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness and being found in appearance as a man. He humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on the cross. So here's two awesome things about this passage. Jesus did for you what you could not do for yourself. What I cannot do for myself by his work on the cross. We're going to celebrate that this week. It's Holy Week. And our love feast on Thursday is a special service when we go through all of the events that Christ did on that Thursday. And Friday's Good Friday. But by his work on the cross, he poured out his blood for you and for me. The second thing, he used his strength not for you, not against you. He made himself nothing so he could save you and do for you what you could not do for yourself, so that he could complete you. The late Tim Keller writes, I think it's up on the screen. Can we put it? We got this Tim Keller quote. There it is. Listen to these words. To be loved but not known is comforting, but superficial. To be known and not loved is our greatest fear. But to be fully known and fully loved is a lot like being loved by God. It is what we need more than anything. Every great relationships, every great dating relationships, every great marriage comes down to one core thing. To know, to be known, and to be loved anyway. Let me say that again. To know and to be known and to be loved anyway. This is exactly what Christ did for us. So whether you are in the season of singlehood or marriagehood, you need to know you are loved, regardless of what they know about you. You are loved. So let's close with the verse we began with, Philippians 2:5. In your relationships with one another, have the same mindset as that of Christ Jesus. In our conclusion, very simple. Let's have that same mindset. Let's have that same mindset. We're going to sing a closing song today. It's a great song by Elevation Worship called Trust in You by